Good evening and welcome to another edition of the HGP Sport. For today, March 28, I am Stanford Howard. Thanks for joining us. We begin the cast by telling you that Barbados continued a good form to restrict a shaky Leeward Islands to 107 after setting up a commanding 206 in their first T20 encounter at Providence. Trinidad also won their game against Guyana. Jaden Samuels reports.
Batting first on a pitch which complemented good batting, the Barbadians ensured it was going to be an over 200 target. This was the case thanks to a quick-fire 63 of 23 from Deandra Doughton, a well-put-together 45 of 23 from Captain Haley Matthews. See Barbados meet 206 in their allotted 20 overs. In reply, Leeward Islands, whose bowling was off to a shaky start with only Shibani Bashkar and Shanisha Hector reaching 40 of 41 and 18 of 13 balls, respectively, the only scores of substance, but that was not good enough to give Leeward Islands a chance. In Game 2, Trinidad and Tobago was too good for Guyana, winning and doing so by 5 wickets. Batting first, Guyana made 157 for 4 in their 20 overs, with Shemaine Campbell being the mainstay with 77 of 56, while Tremaine Smart and Shanita Grimond, 22 and 21, were the only notable scorers. In reply, 52 and 51 from Stacey Ann King and Brittany Cooper ensured the girls from the Twin Island Republic got home safely to start their T20 campaign on a high. Jaden Samuels, HGP Sport.
In football, after a hiatus from the sporting arena, the Stag Easter Futsal Festival is set to return this weekend at the Cliff Anderson Sports Hall. Details in this report. Tournaments which started some 19 years ago at the National Gymnasium were introduced by Frankie English Paris and Santos FC, which has become a staple in futsal tournament. The tournament is set to kick off on the 30th of March with 11 playing days and 32 teams competing, with a winner set to pocket 700,000 Guyana dollars, along with medals and trophies. Here is Frankie Paris as he gave a breakdown of the teams participating.
We have 24 of them from Georgetown. We have 2 from the East Coast, 2 from West End, 2 from the East Bank, and 2 from Linden that will be competing in the tournament. Some of the names that probably you would know already is the Sparta Bosses, the Ben Streets, Goal is Money, Back Circle, Alexander Village, Hustlers. There's a good team from East Coast by the name of Diamond. There's a good team from the East Bank by the name of Agricola. As you know, over the river have one of the famous teams called Showstoppers. All of them will be competing.
He also added that playing dates are the 30th of March and on alternate days between April 2nd and 20th. Finals is tentatively set for Saturday, the 27th of April, which will be changed to April 30th if any clashes occurred. Mohamed Kashif gave an overview on what it takes to run off such a tournament in terms of the rules of the game and what persons can expect.
They're the assistants now that they're calling on us. And the 32 teams, they're very competitive teams. They just came out of the tournament recently. And the only difference is that we try to bring in now some of the other top teams, like English have said, Showstoppers from West Dem. They have the Germans United from Linden, and all the others. So we want to make this a little better in that, we want to add the flavor of the out-of-town teams being a part of it. We already contacted them. 26 out of the 32 has sent back their registration form. Today we were expecting to get the other 6 to complete that. We had discussions with the police already, trying to tie up the whole security situation.
He also noted that they will see a high level of discipline from all teams in terms of attire of the players. Nigel Rowell, brand coordinator of STAG, said he's pleased to be associated once again with the organizers of the tournament.
It becomes synonymous, or should I say, the brand for football. We just teamed up with the GFF over Christmas season. We teamed up with them last week for the game against Belize. We teamed up with this particular team in December also for an international futsal tournament. So it goes without saying that STAG is not just about football, it's about the development of football and most of the development of the people through the game. for those who are going to be actually supporting the games during any one of the playing days, some of the stuff that you see displayed here, some of the things that you can be winning as a part of what's going to be happening. It's going to be through various games. Of course, it's going to be through purchases. So the whole idea is, once you come to the game, there's a chance that you will be getting something to go.
For HGP Sport, I am Stanford Howard. Still with football, Fruta Conquerors conquered Santos FC Wednesday evening at GFC as the GFF Elite League Season 4 continues. The details in this report. Action resumed last evening at the Georgetown Football Club ground when Fruta Conquerors took on Santos FC. The matchup started slowly as players were getting into the groove in the first 20 minutes of play, with both teams attempting to hit the back of the net first. Jarvel Grease was the first to do so in the 24th minute for Fruta Conquerors to break the defense of Santos to give them the lead. A few minutes later, number 9 Dennis Edwards doubled that lead to finish the first half on 2-0. Santos on the resumption attacked from all corners of the field, but was unable to penetrate Fruta Conquerors' goal. Conquerors then added 2 more goals from Ian Hackett and Ian Allen to finish the night 4-0. The Elite League continues on Friday with a doubleheader at the Police Ground, with Santos FC battling Ansgrove at 18:30 hours and Fruta Conquerors versus Police FC at 20:30 hours. On Saturday at the MSC Ground, GDF will battle Myrock FC at 20 hours. And another doubleheader will be held at 1400 hours on Sunday, with Western Tigers going up against Victoria Kings. And at 1600 hours, Den Amstel will battle Buxton at the Den Amstel Ground. For HGP Sport, I am Stanford Howard. Let's turn our attention to some boxing news. Stephen Ninval was elected new vice president of the American Boxing Confederation at a Congress held in Panama City last Friday. Recognizing this achievement was Bristol Promotions last evening. Jaden Samuels has the details.
Elected as president of the Guyana Boxing Association in 2009, Ninval followed this up by becoming the first person from the English-speaking Caribbean to be elected to the executive committee of AIBA. In 2017, he became the first from this hemisphere to be elected on the AIBA Executive Bureau, and in January 2019, Ninval again was appointed chairman of the Caribbean Steering Committee. In February, he was appointed chairman of the AIBA Youth Commission, overseeing youth boxing in 203 countries. His latest calling was last week when he was elected vice president of the American Boxing Confederation, AMBC, which Ninval feels would only better amateur boxing, not only in Guyana, but across the board.
Too many times we find that those who excel, we sometimes tend to paint it with just a cavalier brush, and we tend not to see the hard work that actually goes into making these young men and women excel. I would want to use this election or my new position in AMBC to serve, 1, Guyana better, to serve, 2, the Caribbean better, and to serve the Americas better.
To Steve Ninval, this recognition comes as a surprise since there are not many Guyanese being recognized for their efforts in sports development. The vice president is calling for support in this regard as he seeks to improve amateur boxing.
So I would hope that I can have the necessary support, because we need support regardless of if we are presidents, vice presidents, treasurer, secretary, or what. We will need to have the support if we are going to do any better.
Jaden Samuels, HGP Sport.
And that concludes our cast for this evening. I'm Stanford Howard, but do remember, persistence can change failure into extraordinary achievement. Back to you, Javon.